Welcome.
Okay, guys. Day before yesterday. Yesterday we took the math benchmark, but day before yesterday we talked about thin questions versus thick questions. And don't forget that I've also loaded for you in your Google Writing class Google Slides with some options for you. Okay, so you should have a list of 4 to 6 questions. If you don't, pause this right now and get your 4 to 6 questions kind of figured out, because you're going to need those in just a minute. All right, so hopefully you have your 4 to 6 questions. Turn the page from your thin and thick questions notes, and on this blank page here at the top, I want you to write the title, References. This is where you're going to list any books that you might, and let me just put up here, books and websites. You might even find some articles in some other places, magazines or something, if you have those at home, but books and websites that you're going to use. So you have to list the title. You need to list the date of publication if you can find it. Oh, and the author, title and author of every source that you use. So if you pick up a source and you take a note in it, you need to list the title and the author and the date of the publication. That's all I'm going to require for you to do on this. All right, then turn the page. Now you should have a blank 2-page spread. This is where we're going to start taking notes, and this is how you're going to start taking notes. You know these 6 questions that you had listed over here, 5 or 6 questions? We're going to put the question at the top of the left-hand side page. Each question gets a separate page. You leave the right-hand side blank. Rewind and replay this if you did not get that. So the left-hand side is for the questions. So my first question for my example here is, what features do polar bears have that help them survive in their habitat? Okay. I'm going to leave this side blank. We'll use that later. Now I'm going to turn the page. I'm going to look at my next question. And let's say my next question is, how do polar bears... Okay, I'm going to just keep on writing that. I'm going to show you how the question... So how do polar bears catch their food? For the sake of time, I'm going to pause this and finish this up. Okay, so I finished my questions. How do polar bears catch their food? What do they eat? My next question is, how have polar bears changed over time? What contributed to the change? These are curiosity questions I have. What kind of shelter do polar bears need and why? So some of them are like thin type questions combined with a thick question. What do they eat? That's a thin question. It's like, they eat fish and maybe small animals, okay? I could write that down. I'd have to do some research to figure that out. How do they catch their food? That would be a little bit more of a thick question, because there are going to be more words and more things involved in how they catch their food, whether they're in water or on land. Okay, so now I have my questions, and now I'm ready to do my research. And at this point, you're going to need sticky notes. And there's a reason I want you to have sticky notes. If we had enough of these tiny sticky notes, I would use the tiny ones. But we don't have tiny ones enough, so you're going to use the medium-sized one. You're just going to have to overlap them. So I wish I had a polar bears book here. I've done this before. I need to go get a polar bears book from Miss Horton. But if I had my polar bears book out and I'm reading along now, and as I'm reading and I'm looking through the chapters, I'm looking for answers to my questions. What features do polar bears have that keep them, help them survive? How do they catch their food? Yada, yada. So I've done some research before, and I've got these things. And using sticky notes, you're not writing complete sentences. I want you to write short, just 2 or 3 words that are going to remind you of that. This will help you keep from plagiarizing. So furs on their paws. So on the underneath side of their paws, I learned that they have fur on their paws. That obviously is going to help them survive in this extreme cold. They have hair that's like a tube, okay? And there's some tubular hair, and I even did a little sketch of what the tubular hair looks like. They have black skin. Their hair looks white, but that tube is actually clear, but they have black skin. So I'm going to put that. They have a layer of blubber that keeps them warm. Their hair is clear. It's like a camouflage. It's a clear hair. It looks white to us, but I found out that it's clear. And it's like an electric fur coat. And so because of the way they are. So I just did a little sketch because I read in one of my books that, I was thinking that it was like an electric coat for the polar bear. So some word choice and ways, and I could do that. So those are some of the notes. Now I could keep researching and find more notes that I could put down, but 2 to 3 words, no sentences, 2 to 3 words. This will then become sentences later. How do polar bears catch their food, and what do they eat? Their paws are like paddles. They have eyes like goggles, so they can get underneath the water. They have big paws and long claws, okay? And we are doing them on sticky notes so we can rearrange them later. So it's really important you follow my instructions and do your notes on stickies. Bodies are suited to swim. They can swim 6 to 10 hours at a time. They're great swimmers. They have powerful eyes. Their nostrils close underneath the water, and they have sensitive noses. They can smell up to 20 miles, things that are up to 20 miles away. So then I'm going to keep on doing research, and I might have gotten these notes at different times. And as I'm getting the notes from different resources, I'm just jotting the notes, and I'm putting them to go with my questions. The other thing is, as you're doing your research, if you run across in your research something else that you would like to put down, you could have a section that's called Interesting Facts. And then later you can figure out, when you're organizing your article, you can figure out, well, where will those facts fit in if they don't fit in with these questions that you've got to answer. Okay, so now today I want you to start doing the research. Start with your books, read and find the answers to your questions, but in small little pieces and on sticky notes. And no, you can't write a sentence starting with the first 3 words on one sticky and then put 3 more words and 3 more words and all of it makes a sentence. That's not the point. The main ideas, the main things that you want to be able to include in your paper, that's what needs to go there. Okay, get started researching. We'll do a couple of days of research here for you, and I'll load some websites as well. So hopefully I'll have them done by tomorrow. So check your Writing Google class, and if I've loaded websites, they're there. If I haven't, you can wait till tomorrow and just stick with your books. Want you to start with the books first, okay? Have a great day. If you have any questions, bring them to small group, 1 question at a time. And I can't answer lots of questions. Remember, we've got to keep working in small group. Have a wonderful research time.